welcome to another episode of Sharing a Drink with Matt. Today I'm talking to Melbourne band Quaid.
Hey,
How are you, mate?
good. Good to finally see your face.
Hey,
Definitely.
All
There
right,
he is.
Vinny should be
How are you?
jumping in a second, and I don't know what Sickle's doing. He does know. But yeah, Chris is he's working a
a whole
big
different.
he's working a big it's like 100 guitarists or something playing a song in Brisbane. So yeah, so he was like, yeah, cool. And then all of a sudden he got the call to do this. So he's conducting 100 guitarists playing a song. Oh, God, for the life of me, I can't remember which one. He did last year. He did For Those About to Rock.
Yes, I was just about to bring that up. Was that him, was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Him and this guy called Joff. Yeah, and it just gets bigger every year. So this year they've had to build extra stages at like the Brisbane, like their music bowl thing, and yeah, they've got like 100 or something guitarists on stage, plus a band and all that stuff, and all these people coming up to play it. So I'm glad it's him, like coordinating 100 bloody guitarists at all different skill levels. Yeah. Fuck that.
I've seen one with drummers as well.
Yeah. There was that Foo Fighters one the other day. Yeah, that was sick. But yeah. Oh, fuck that. I can barely organize these pricks to do shit. So fuck doing 100 kids. So I'm gonna.
Hey, are you a Murder Junkies fan or?
Kind of. Like growing up, yeah, but I've gotten old and jaded, so yeah.
It's just that your beard's like Mel Allen.
I take that as a compliment. But,
I've actually
You take everything as a compliment.
Well, it takes the attention off the rest of my face, so it's good that they're talking about that shit.
No. I'm actually interviewing him in a couple of weeks.
Oh, sick.
Yes, which is going to be fucking insane.
Yeah.
The second American band I've interviewed on this show, which I don't know how it's going to go or not, but
no.
Yeah. Anyway, where'd the name Quaid come from?
It's a long story.
And it's not that interesting. We were just a bunch of dudes just jamming for ages. Like, you know, we're all middle-aged, got kids and shit. So when we started actually having to put names down, like the joke name was Randy Quaid's Institute of Method Acting. And and then we actually got a show and was just like, shit, what are we called? So we shortened it to Quaid. So but I was watching Total Recall with my son yesterday, the original one, and then I'm like, we should go with this story. It's much better.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know what you're saying now. Definitely. Yeah.
So so it's just kind of a name that we put there, and it's kind of stuck. So it's kind of uneventful story.
Yep. No worries. Okay. So to begin with, what's happening with Quaid at the moment?
Whoa, cool.
Not a lot.
It's kind of here's Vinny. It's kind of, we were picking up steam before the plague, and then COVID hit, and we literally started recording the weekend before the first lockdown in Victoria, and so we thought we'd get it done in like, was it 3 days, but you know. So
that didn't happen, and then it took us a while.
And then we had to prolong, like it was like a year before we could actually book back in.
You guys got hit hard, didn't you?
Yeah. So and we had like a bunch of shows booked, and then they were all cancelled due to the lockdowns. And then sort of, as what's happened with a lot of bands, we've just sort of lost momentum, and we lost momentum a bit. And then
we lost a bass player.
Yeah. So in the middle of this, our bass player Paul moved back to Finley. And so, you know, we thankfully got Sickle if he would eventually jump in. And so, you know, learning new songs and all that, and, you know, and then we actually had a pretty decent show in the middle of the lockdowns. And then, like, I think the week after we went into like the third lockdown, and so, you know, and then we've had a heap of shows cancelled due to COVID. And we've had to cancel shows due to COVID. You know, and I think that's just the way the world is at the moment. We've got some decent shows coming up soon that we're almost ready to announce. But so watch this space. But, you know, we're just waiting to get the okay to announce it. But yeah, so we're sort of trying to pick up where we've left off, but it's really hard at the moment just because of the way the world is. So
and everyone having, you know, shit to do in their personal lives as well. You know, families and stuff, as Brad said before. You know, it kind of, you know, it's like, okay, we've got to get that momentum back. We've got to find the time, and we've got to be able to say, right, let's do this. You know, regularly, so that we can, you know, get that momentum back.
And we're sort of victims to our own sort of perfectionism a little bit. Like, where I mean, I suppose you could call us one of those lazy bands that, you know, if we actually lit a candle under us, you know, we'd probably get a lot more done. But, you know, the EP as well, like, we've been putting a lot of time and effort into the EP, but because of the way things are, everyone's booking studio time to sort of get stuff done. Excuse all these beeps and noises. I should have turned all that shit off. Yeah, so we've sort of had to stop and start and, you know, try and get this recording done. So a lot of our focus has been on that and trying to get new songs written. So we were trying to capitalize on the time, but you know, the world happened, and I think it's kind of indicative of this COVID normal sort of world that we're living in now. You know, entertainment's been hit really hard. Like, I work in a venue as well, so, you know, we've had a lot of big shows cancelled and a lot of international stuff cancelled and stuff. So if it's happening on that level, it's going to be hitting the local level a hell of a lot harder. And so everyone's trying to pick up from where we've left off, but we're all middle-aged, you know. So and as Girth said, you know, there's a lot of moving parts to try and get Quaid as functional as we should be, but I don't think it helps either that, you know, we live in completely disparate parts of Melbourne, so it's finding that middle ground of somewhere we can rehearse, the day we can rehearse, and all that shit as well. Oh, we sound shit. Listen to it.
We seriously, we are pathetic.
It's like, if we actually, if we turn the battery up.
I've been watching the gig guide. I've been watching it a lot, and every gig there's one band saying, "Oh, sorry, we've got to pull out." You know, one of us has a COVID or something. Like, it's been hitting like you said, it's been hitting the entertainment industry really fucking hard.
And that actually happened to us as well. We were lined up for a gig, and bass player had been at a gig the weekend before where a lot of people started testing positive, and bang, so did he. And this was, what was it, 4 days before we were due to play, and we had to say, sorry guys, we can't do this.
And then we hate
doing that.
We love playing shows. Like, we love playing shows more than anything. And it's just, it's just depressing at times, you know. But then there's been sort of serendipitous things where we've had to pull out of shows, and that show everyone's got COVID, you know. So it's sort of like, you know,
dodged a bullet.
You know, it's kind of finding balance. But yeah, but I mean, but these are because we've got families we've got to look after, so we can't risk, you know, a lot of that shit. But yeah, it's just trying to find the new world, like the new platforms, the new ways to sort of get your stuff across, you know, because we've got to get used to this shit. You know, this shit's going to be with us for a long time. But yeah, but enough about COVID. Let's talk about music.
Oh, just one more thing. Thing about COVID. I watched a YouTube gig of the Dropkick Murphys that they recorded during lockdown, and it was like, fuck, so many more bands should have been doing this. I think No Effects did it.
Yeah,
that is or something. But
I saw a lot of bands doing shows like that. You know, because I think Powderfinger did something like that, didn't they?
Foo Fighters did. You know, a heap of bands did. But
yeah, I saw a really good one by a band called Tesseract. You know, yeah, there were a lot of bands that were literally just doing that live gig in a studio set up in front of cameras, and it's awesome to watch them play. But it's so weird when they get to the end of the song and there's no crowd.
Yeah.
But, sounds like one of our shows.
Vinny keeps popping in now and then. How are you, Vinny?
Yeah.
I'm doing good. Yeah, good guys. Yeah, glad to see everyone's doing well on a Saturday. So
God, he's got that guitar.
Is that guitar sitting? Is that
it's
guitar
set up
sitting behind you there so that people know what you do?
Yeah, that's it. I'm just like a fill-in, just like, I just hold a guitar on stage and just walk around.
My guitar. Oops, I forgot it was there.
You get more conversation out of it than me, so yeah.
Ooh, what are you doing, Step Fender?
Oh my God, there's two.
Yeah, it's the acoustic. We have an acoustic session as well. Yeah.
You can make
very lonely.
Sound filthy.
Anyway,
you'll have to excuse my cough as well. It's not COVID. It's that awful flu that's going around. So yeah.
Oh no,
isn't it? My kids. I've got 8 kids. 2 of them have got the yeah.
I
2 of
got 4.
not the COVID, the cough. And they're going, Dad, we haven't got the COVID. We had that a month ago. I said, yeah.
Get it twice.
Yeah, I'm double vaxxed for no reason at all, but I'm double vaxxed and I got the COVID and me being the fucking idiot I am, I get the new COVID. I got the long COVID.
Oh no.
Okay. That's not good.
Only 4 weeks, this shit. And it was horrible. Like, fuck, man. I think the flu, I'd rather have the worst case of flu than the better case of the COVID because, like, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, my wife had it not long ago. And yeah, it hit her pretty hard. And we triple vaxxed. We've had our boosters at Christmas. Our daughter caught it. She got it really mildly. My 2 eldest, they got it as well. And then my wife got it. She had Delta. She's lost her sense of smell and taste.
Wow.
Slowly coming back a few weeks later now. But yeah, myself and my son are the only ones that haven't managed to catch it yet, thankfully.
I have dodged that stuff like the Matrix, man. Like everyone around me, except for my family, everyone's gotten it. And for some reason, I'm like Neo, just dodging COVID bullets. I don't know how. And I work in a venue, and we've had people that have come back and gone, yeah, you're going to have to get tested. I'm positive. Or call back. And yeah, somehow, touch wood. But I'll probably get it tonight. But yeah.
Now you've said that, yeah,
you jinxed yourself now.
You'll stop yourself.
Yeah. But I usually ask the question, what are your influences? But this is a better way I've thought to say it. You've got, okay, this is one for each of you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You got to put a 5-band gig together. Who would it be?
Oh, Jesus.
5. Oh, okay.
Well, what's
Any
really weird about
bands like
we have
Any
such
like
wide.
broken up or
Oh,
or
no.
going now?
still running. Yeah.
Any bands? All right, 5. Dag Nasty with Dave Smiley.
Yeah.
All with Scott Reynolds.
Yep.
Jesus. Elliot. Mineral. Was that 4? And Herod.
Okay.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah, that'd be
I'm a 90s kid, but I love sludge metal. So yeah, I could talk about those bands forever. But yeah. All right, Girth, you're up.
Oh, me. All right. Let's see. Oh, Led Zeppelin. I
Oh,
would
yeah.
love to have seen
Oh,
Led
see, I didn't
Zeppelin.
think.
eh?
Oh God, didn't even
Jumps
think of
the
that.
big one.
Yeah. Hey, I've seen Pink Floyd. I would love to see Led Zeppelin. There's I don't know the bands I've seen, bands I haven't seen. I'm going to go with bands I haven't seen. So yeah, definitely Led Zeppelin. I've never seen Deftones. Let's put them on there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I love them.
Deftones good.
Oh, Jesus, who else? If I'm trying to think about bands I haven't seen, that's going to be struggling.
These are hard questions, dude. Like where?
Yeah, I know. It's like
we talk about other bands more than
actually, I have seen this band before. Suicidal Tendencies. I was watching some stuff of them the other day, and they are awesome.
Yeah.
They are such a good band. Mike Muir is one of those guys. There is no stage big enough for him.
No
he
way.
just skanks up and down all over the place.
Yeah.
He fills that stage, and every incarnation of that band, I think, has been fantastic. So I'm going to chuck Suicidal on there.
I saw Suicidal Tendencies at the Warp Tour in Byron Bay, and like you said, he runs up and down that stage like he's a madman. And I actually saw. Sorry to interrupt, but I actually saw an interview with him, Henry Rollins, and Glenn Danzig, and they were talking about how they used to share an apartment together.
Wow.
God, their heads wouldn't be able to fit.
Clash of the egos.
Egos in punk rock.
But they were speaking about how they got home invaded, and the guys ran in.
All he wanted was a Pepsi, though.
Ran straight.
Just one Pepsi.
Yeah. Anyway,
And they wouldn't give it to him.
Back to the 5 bands. I just had to bring.
Okay. Actually, again, another band I have seen, but I would absolutely fucking love to see again. Tism.
Oh, for sure.
Tism, yeah.
They were just one of those most ridiculously awesome bands. And actually, you know what? Frank Zappa. I wish I'd had a chance to see Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
It would be brilliant.
You're showing your age now, dude.
I know I am. I've seen Dweezil, and I've seen him doing the Zappa Plays Zappa show. And that was quite amazing, because I was telling some friends about it last night, actually. The band were absolutely incredible. Just you couldn't fault them. And then Steve Vai comes out on stage and fucking ruins everything by making everyone look like a hack. He is that good and that casually good that he just made everyone look like amateurs, and they were insanely good. And I'm going to throw a special mention in for Peeping Tom, because I watched some stuff of them last night and they were great too.
Excellent.
I haven't heard that one.
Going on Dweezil Zappa, I saw him do a cover of his dad's Dynamo Hum.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was good, but I don't think anybody could do Dynamo Hum other than Frank.
It's not quite the same. Well, he had Tina Turner singing on that.
Yes.
He did?
Yes, he did. On the original, the album version, Tina Turner was singing
the one
the
with
vocals on there.
she's the sister. She sings the sister's part.
Yeah.
You can
Oh.
make it come.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I would have absolutely have loved to have seen Frank Zappa, because that would have been an amazing show.
I heard his concerts are really crowd initiated. Like he brings the crowd into the show kind of thing.
Yeah, he makes them part of it. Yeah, there is crowd interaction and that sort of stuff. But not even that, just the way he interacts with the band. Like I've seen videos and stuff, obviously, but that would have been quite amazing. I mean, he ruled that band with an iron fist. There was no room for fucking around, even though pretty much everything they did was fucking around.
Yeah.
Hey there, people, I'm Bobby Brown. I love it. That's why I'm not in a band. I can't sing for shit.
I'm in a band because I can't sing.
That's why I sit up the back and play the drums.
I organise everything, because then if I do that, people won't notice my lack of talent. So, all right, Vinny, your 5 bands.
My 5 bands. I don't know. Half of my list, most of them are dead, so it'd be an ideal.
Okay, that's all right.
Ideal list.
Go with it, man. Go with it. Shit.
Yeah.
I said Zeppelin Bonham's dead. Zappa's dead.
Yeah, true.
It's just, this is a fantasy list, man. Come on.
Fantasy list. Oh no, I've got the list already. It's just who to put first. Well, I'd really would have loved to have seen Rory Gallagher, Irish iconic lead guitar player. He's got some real fantastic songs, like Back in Your Town or Tattoo Lady and stuff like that. As albums of fantastic work he's done. Second person I would have liked to have seen, another lead guitarist, Jimi Hendrix. Really big Jimi Hendrix enthusiastic, big fuzz sound, and how he kind of manipulated the guitar and the sound, and how he just used to make that guitar come alive. So that's why I kind of go with Tellys and Strats and stuff, because I've always thought they had a real nice pull to sound, and or you could make them sing, and like I've hacked and chopped all the pickups and wiring out of it to make it what it is today. But it's just fantastic band. Who else? Thin Lizzy, another big band. I'm a huge Thin Lizzy fan.
Yeah.
Phil Lynott is close to my heart. I've got most of the records. Most of them are reprints, but I listen to them daily. Fantastic melodies and that. Boys Are Back in Town. Everyone knows that one, but there's hundreds of songs that they do that are just really sweet, and the harmonics and the 2 guitars, intertwining with each other. Like we kind of actually do that in our band between myself and the other guitarist. We swap licks within a song. Like I'll do the lead, and then I'll go back to rhythm whilst the other guitar runs into lead. And sometimes we have lead song in one song that will harmonize at different points with each other. And we kind of a lot of ideas I've pulled out of Thin Lizzy. What's that? That's 3. So the 4th one would be I don't know, kind of. Would the 4th one be? Probably, like you've already said, Led Zeppelin.
I didn't say Monster Magnet. You can use them if you want.
Okay, Monster Magnet. Yeah. Just chuck it in. No, I don't know. If the biggest influence would probably be Black Sabbath, like big Black Sabbath sound. Don't play a lot of heavy stuff in our band, so when I'm at home, I play a lot of heavy metal or Black Sabbath kind of riffs and stuff like that. A lot of fuzz and all that. And that's kind of like all the old school music I've liked, and I've pulled a lot of influence out of, and got me into music was a lot of those bands. But if I was just to put in a band, like say up to date since I've moved to Australia, I have to mention King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, because I'm a fucking pothead that listens to that shit. And I'll play along to it, and I don't know. It's just something of my generation that they've pumped out, and some of their stuff's kind of a bit wacky, all right. But they do all sorts of strange things, like out of tune stuff, or what's the one they do? They have all sorts of.
They've got 3 million songs, man.
3 million songs now. So yeah, but yeah, that they're probably like they're from Melbourne. They're an Australian band. They're kind of my age, so a lot of us listen to it.
His age, as opposed
to
yeah, our age.
Everyone's got like 20 years on me, so I got my own play to go. But that would be my 5 to 6.
God, I could go on though. I'm just thinking now. There's about 20 other bands I'd add to that.
Yeah.
We'd be here all day with this. Yeah.
But that's the beauty of Quaid. Like I'm from like a 90s sort of punk, pop, emo, like big emo sort of, not the mascara stuff, but like the 90s stuff. Girth's tastes, we all listen to similar stuff, but Girth comes from a completely different, more of a
that 80s thrash, and that sort of stuff.
Vinny's like
the music stuff that we listen to is nothing like the music that we make.
No, it's not.
Weird. Like Chris, our other guitarist, is in an old school death 3-piece, and he's played in some massive hardcore bands, and now we're playing this sort of 90s emo rock, post-hardcore sort of stuff. And it's because we go in with no agenda. It's just we go in and we play. Like Sickles, massive Dillinger Escape Plan fan, and again we just go in and we write riffs, and then songs come out of it, and conveniently it's in a style that we like, and and we work with it. But that's, I think, the beauty of it.
Yeah, definitely. But getting on to your sound, before that, I've got to ask, because I've thought this myself, and then my producers brought it up. Vinny, where are you from?
Oh, I'm originally from Ireland, so Tipperary, a little bit of Dublin, a bit of Kerry. Mostly grew up in Tipperary in the centre of Ireland.
He was born in all 3 of those places.
It's a long labour.
It was a really long birth.
Hospitals closed. Next one.
Yeah. The family's kicked in. We got to go to the next hospital.
It's funny because you sounded American at the beginning, and then when I asked where you were from, your accent just went straight into Irish.
I just turned it on and off like that.
He has a switch.
Yeah.
Guys, and this is another one for each of you. When was it that you thought, fuck it, I want to be in a band, I want to play music, I want to rock?
Oh, fuck. I wanted to learn playing drums from a pretty early age. I was drawn to it. I was probably about 15 when I first started playing with other people, and I just thought, that's what I want to do. I felt more at home and more alive when sitting behind my drums, flailing around, bashing the shit out of things. I would have been in my mid-teens when I decided that was what I wanted to do. And I'm 50 now, so there you go.
Yeah, we're getting old, aren't we?
Oh.
And I've interviewed a lot of bands. Like, I've already got 14 uploaded, and there's still another 14 that we haven't, or my editor hasn't edited and uploaded yet. And the majority of the bands I've interviewed are my age. We're in our 50s, and I'm like, fuck.
Must be in the wrong group chat or something.
Look, I'm doing this because it's just what I want to do. I'm having fun. At 50 years of age, I'm not expecting to, have, people coming up, kids coming up to us after, you guys are awesome. That's not going to happen, and I'm not looking for that. I'm doing it purely for myself. This is self-gratification. I'm having a wank all over that stage.
Yeah, that's another reason why we don't play heaps of shows. But for me, like, I can remember, like, I used to play around with friends, and we'd, play around with guitars and pretend to be in bands and stuff. But I can remember it was, and I actually bought the 7-inch the other day. I found it. I grew up in Murrelbach, and I went to the local festival, which was the Red Earth Festival, and Jimmy the Human and Spectre 7 were playing at the hall there, and I was like, I think 12, 13, and just wandered in and saw this band, just first live band that I'd seen, and was just blown away. And then I'm just like, oh, I'm doing that. And then I started hanging around a venue in Croydon called EVs, and we all just started bands, and that was early 90s, and I'm still here now, and now, and for me it was like I'm not coordinated, I can't play sports, I'm not into sports, I'm not into cars, I'm into music. And this is my weekend football, this is my my escape, for that 40 minutes that I'm on a stage. Everything makes sense.
Yeah.
And
even when it doesn't.
But even then we know exactly why. It's usually Vinny. And
or it's
I give
you
you that
stepping
one,
on cables.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. That's right,
Brad. On pedals and shit. Yeah, and but everything makes sense for that moment, So yeah, so I'll keep on doing it until I can't. So
I can't.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's good that I found a bunch of dudes that are exactly on the same page. So there's no illusions of grandeur.
Yeah.
No, and it probably makes this. I was going to say, it probably makes this band more fun than any band I've ever played in.
Because there's no agenda. Like, we're not doing this, like,
there's no expectation.
Yeah, but we take it seriously. But in the same breath, like, if we're not enjoying it, what's the point of doing it? So, for us, it's fun first. And we work hard, we're not mucking around, but the moment it's not fun, there's no point doing it, so, because we've all been in bands where it's been business, it's been focused. And while it's fun, it's also quite stressful, because you're juggling both lives.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Well,
and
it's the same with doing this show. I'm not going to become a millionaire out of it. I'm not going to hit, like, I'm not, my interviews aren't going to go viral. I'm doing this because I get to meet the fucking maddest people. I get to talk to fucking legends, and I get to show the world, really, the maddest legends. And like, I'm doing this for the fun of it. And because I think that the Australian punk scene needs to be shown. I've just been lost. You lost me? Have you still got me?
No, you're there.
I'm still here. What's going on?
You're there. You're back.
I think you're back.
My phone just keeps going clean and starts cleaning itself because
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're big supporters of the local scene. Like, we love local bands. We all go and see local bands. So for us, it's like we'd much support.
Yeah.
Live music scene, keep it alive.
The scene, rather than, do what some bands do and step on other bands in order to, to get signed or to get the big show and stuff.
We've met some really cool people ourselves with gigs that we've played, made some really good friends,
lifelong friends. So we've got brothers in Adelaide who Mayweather, and we always help each other out, and without music we wouldn't have been able to meet these great people, and we wouldn't have seen the town Keith. I don't think I'd ever would have seen that town unless I was driving through to play shows in Adelaide. So, we've seen a lot of the country being on the road and stuff as well. So, it's fun, So yeah.
There was a mountain on that drive too, wasn't there?
You are?
There was a mountain on that drive too, wasn't there?
I'm looking at you, Vincent.
Sorry, in joke.
But
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
but
my cat just fucking attacked the pizza box and is just now going wild. What the
Good on
Sorry,
your cat.
very unprofessional. Actually, I'm going to be unprofessional. You guys have got the camera for 3 minutes. I've got to go get rid of a half a carton. What would you say to guys that want to be in a band? What can you give them?
Oh, off he
Um,
falls. Pipe.
fun first. Fun
Okay.
first. You've got to.
Yeah, do it because it's what you want to do, because you love it. Because if you're doing it for any other reason, it's not going to make sense, and people will pick up on that. You know,
Yeah.
I think the reason we get a good response at our shows is because we're continually laughing at ourselves when we fuck up.
Oh yeah.
And we're laughing. And we're laughing when we're not. Like because we're just having so much fun, you know.
And that's it. Do it because it's fun.
And
Yeah.
yeah. And don't listen to anyone else, you know, because I know this is going to sound cliche, but it's your journey, you know. It's your, you know, just because band X did it this way and it worked for them may not
Doesn't
work,
mean it's
you
gonna
know.
work for you.
So you've really got to sort of draw your own map, you know, and don't be afraid to ask for advice. You know, like there's a lot of people around there that are professionals that get paid a lot of money to do what they do, but they're a lot of them are also advocates for small local bands, because that's where a lot of us started from. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to reach out and just go, hey, should we do this? You know, because, you know, I've been fortunate that we've gotten a lot of advice from some really smart people that have helped us and helped previous bands and stuff, you know. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask. But yeah. But number one, yeah, it's got to be fun. It has to be fun.
You'll love what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely.
And be nice to the bar staff.
Yes.
Always
Yeah,
be
they'll
nice.
look after you if you look after them.
Always be nice to the venue, to the bar staff, all those people, because
Sound tech. You got to be nice to
always be nice to the people who are running the show, because I cannot emphasize enough, you're on stage for 45 minutes or half an hour. They're there the whole time. They're there bumping in and bumping out. They're doing everything to make you sound good. And if you poo-poo them, you know, they talk. And yeah, don't bite the hand that feeds you, you know.
You should never piss off the sound technician, I don't think.
Ever.
No,
Like
buy
that-
him a beer.
No, none
Yeah.
of them. Roadies, you know, floor staff, bar staff, venue owners, all those people, they do so much work for you to get up on stage for half an hour, you know. So yeah, you've really got to respect them, because, you know, bands stopped playing because of COVID. These people kept on innovating. They kept on, you know, trying to keep the industry going. So yeah, you've really got to respect them. So yeah.
100%. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys do any covers?
No.
Oh, we try to do a Tism cover, wasn't it?
Every now and then
Or,
someone will bring up an idea. Oh, should we do this song? We've never done a cover because we can never agree on a song.
That's true. Yeah.
We jammed, like, when we were trying out guitarists, we jammed a couple of, like, didn't we do a Promise Ring song or a Mineral song?
Oh, you wanted us to do a Mineral song. I think we jammed American Jesus with someone a couple
and was
of
it
times.
Natalie? Were we looking at Natalie Imbruglia, the Torn song?
We had that Reckless song as well.
We mucked around with Reckless by Australia.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
5 minutes.
That we did that.
Yeah.
Wasn't too bad.
We've never been we will. I don't think we'll ever do a cover, because we can never agree on a song that we want to do. We all have such vastly different tastes in music,
And our group chats are full of cover idea, and it's generally
never get a cover.
not responded.
Could
I
you
think there's
imagine
too much in the band for creativity, so we have to write our own stuff.
We haven't got enough of our own songs. We need to focus on writing some more shit for us before we start worrying about other people's stuff.
There you go. Who writes the songs?
We all do.
It's everyone puts it in, but it usually starts with someone having a riff or a line or a lick or a drum beat, and then we go, "Hey, I like that," and then we just kind of jam. And within 5 minutes, you either have the starts of a new song or we just scrap it. But that's generally where it starts from. It's just a lick or two, or a good vibe, or like that sick drum beat or something interesting we've picked up, and then after about half an hour of making noise, something genuine comes out of it, and that's top 3 of our main songs. That's how they were all developed, with different people along the way, and then we've got the current lineup of people. But generally, it's spur of the moment and just us having good time. If we're having fun playing, it's probably going to be fun to play on stage. Therefore, the crowd will like it. So that's generally how we mix it up.
When writing, when writing the songs, do you have a theme that you stick to, or?
I don't know. There's a structure. I'd say there's a certain structure that we've probably recycled several times.
Song
but
that's
again, but that's kind of that's kind of the way we do it. If we're kind of stuck for something, it's like, oh well, what if we do this? We've done it before. That's our thing.
But like meaning and lyrical things and stuff like that. Like I'm responsible for a lot of the lyrics. Like I don't write them all, but so a lot of the stuff's coming from me. And there's a lot of different themes. Like
you're not writing as we are either. Like you usually wait until we've got a structure down, and then you've got an idea of what you want to write about. So you write your lyrics to that. Whereas the rest of us, we're jamming. We're sort of trying to lock in, take it to maybe somewhere we haven't gone before, or try and keep it at least something somewhat familiar to people who've heard our stuff before. Those songs.
But we don't go in saying we're right now.
It's this and it's black and white.
That. And from me, I suppose lyrically, because I work with, because we write the song and then we put the lyrics with it. Usually, it really comes from the feel of the song or the vibe of the song. It might be a more emotional sort of thing, or something a bit more,
depth.
Yeah. I mean, the themes are the usual ones, like trying to work out what's going on, why we're here, and sort of what I'm going through at that moment.
The stress of life,
Yeah.
Write it down, sing it out. Some people can relate. A lot of it's just to go with the song we wrote, but I wouldn't get too lost. I'd be more interested in the energy that we're putting out compared to like listening to I wouldn't hang off every word Brad would say. It's beautiful. It's just, it's all about the energy.
I'm not going to win a Pulitzer Prize,
third of what he says.
Any awards for literary stuff, but goes with the song.
Yeah. So have you ever played a gig with a bit? You got this 3 or 4 bands on the gig. Have you ever gone, what the fuck was this guy thinking? Putting
every show.
Almost every fucking show.
That has been literally every gig we've played.
Our last show we played at Last Chance.
We did.
And we played with this band called Japan 4, and they headlined, and we were last minute fill in due to COVID.
Yep.
And halfway through Japan 4's set, we've just looked at each other and gone, we quit. Like everything we've done, they've just done better. Like, so after the set, like, and I've known these guys for years, but I'm just like, how can you be this good? Like, why are we playing this show? Like,
well, we were just filling, but
but
that's
it was
almost every
it was
show.
an amazing show. All the bands were fantastic, but just Japan Forward just. And we played Flipping the Bird recently, which is a big festival in Frankston, which is my hometown. And
that was a good day. Really good day.
Yeah, and we were playing with some amazing heavy bands, like, you know, stoner, you know, metal, the hardcore punk, you know, some big bands, and yeah, and we played on the indoor stage, one of the indoor stages, and we're just like, oh God, these bands are so good. Why are we here?
But is there been a time when you've gone, these guys aren't even in our genre, that like, and we're playing with like some Slim Dusty kind of fucking band up on the, and you're going, oh my God, why are we even here? Like,
there was probably a couple of bands that fit that description at Flipping the Bird, I'd say. But
that show in Bendigo we played, remember that one?
Actually,
there was that dude with the acoustic guitar who opened up.
Yeah,
it was
rough. A weird day.
That was really rough.
Yeah, we drove to Bendigo and we played. It was like 3 stages at Music Man when Music Man was around, and it was just a really weird day. We had an absolute ball, you know, and we played our guts out. But it was a strange day. But the issue that we've got is we're between genres. Like Melbourne now, like the scene is really focused on hardcore punk, like Clowns, Protospasm, you know, Coffin, you know, all this stuff, who are amazing bands, put on fantastic shows, you know, and you know, Stiff Richards and stuff, you know, and then there's like a lot of these again, amazing sort of in more the tech punk stuff like Judo Chop and Japan 4 and all this stuff that are doing their thing. And we're sort of in the middle, like we're this sort of mid-tempo 90s Jimmy Eat World worship sort of emo,
really melodic.
Yeah, like Braid, Hey Mercedes, stuff that no one really talks about anymore. And we're not intending to sound like that. It's just been, again, serendipitous that it's sort of worked out like that because we love those bands. But so for us, we're always like the redheaded cousin that's
a child.
That's in the corner. Like we don't fit genre stuff. It's hard for us to get a lot of festival spots because we don't fit stuff. You know what I mean? Like not huge festivals. I'm sort of, you know, like the mini fests and stuff because we don't fit.
Yeah, there's like no point of us playing a huge metal show or gigs because like that's not what we're about, you know.
And we'd be imposters as well.
Yeah, we'd be the strangers there, you know. We need to have like an alternative kind of genre or gigs and all like that, where you could have all sorts of different types of bands, and we'd be like, "Yeah, you fit right in because you're completely out of whack to what the current."
It's funny that we all of this is absolutely true, but I remember Brad and I having a conversation with John from Awake Now and Mark from All Hope Remains at the Bendigo. We played a gig at the Bendigo, and Brad and I sitting there going, we don't fit in with all you other guys, and they're just like, yeah, but you do, because what we do is a bit different. Then, you know, it adds that you know, the cleanser, the palate cleanser after after some brutally ridiculous hardcore band, and then we come in and we're like la 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 la.
Yeah, sad boys sitting there.
It's la la la, but it's heaps louder.
And then it's back to the fast, you know, thrash punk sort of stuff, and they're just like, yeah, but you guys do fit because we're different, you know, and it just breaks it up and adds a level of texture or something like that. But yeah, we always find ourselves, you know, going, you know, looking at each other going, what the hell are we doing here? You know, why are we on this bill?
Because we need the gigs, man. We're desperate.
Because we will play the opening of an envelope.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But sort of, we also look at it from another perspective as well, as like we have been, and due to the world at the moment and stuff, our output recording wise has not been as good as it should be. Like we this EP should have been out 2 and a bit years ago. Nearly, yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So we've been running on an EP that we recorded 5 years ago now, maybe
No, 2.
No, not the new one.
No,
was it 2 years
old
ago?
old one.
Oh, sorry, the old one.
Yeah,
yeah,
about 4 years.
Like a long time ago.
2018, I think.
And we're still able to get shows based on how much fun we have on stage. We don't put on the best show, but people say that a lot of people said that they enjoy watching us play because they feel that they're having as much fun as we are.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of and I'm not meaning to toot, but it's sort of a credit to us that after such shit output, recording wise, that we're still able to get shows based on our live show. And based on the stuff that we've done, so we've been really lucky in that respect. But for us being on a bill that's weird, that's every bill.
Yeah.
Sydney had a festival last weekend. It was called the Folk Festival.
It was that Cutthroat. Was that the Cutthroat one? Cutthroat Folk Festival.
Folk Festival, and you had bands. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they had bands like the Owen Guns.
Yeah, good band.
They had people, the Australian Beef Week, and I'm thinking, like, I've got 8 kids, so I don't get to do festivals. I can go and see a gig at night.
Yeah,
I just can't be away all day or something lately. But and I'm thinking, this is a folk festival, and you've got some of Australia's hardcore bands playing.
But I think now it's more like we need people to come out again.
Yep.
And it's also like I was in a band a long time ago, and we were sort of a 90s punk band, and we played a few shows, and we played the Port Fairy Folk Festival before John Butler, and we were playing like No Effects, Pennywise, skate punk, and I think a lot of the time it's just like, well, okay, we've got the folk market down, or we've got the metal market down. Let's get some more people through the door and offer something a little bit different. And I think Cutthroat was a good indication of that. It's just like, well, folk now, it sort of encompasses, it's got that punk ethos as well. So there's
a lot of folk punk out there.
Exactly. And so I think there is a lot of crossover with a lot of that stuff. But also I think it's a sign of the times. It's just we need more people through the door, because people are still scared to go out, so
true. Yeah.
Yeah, but it also shows how open music fans are. That they'll go and watch that. It's music, and if you like music, like, you'll check out Owen Guns because they're a great band, so
Sean's amazing. Sean he's an amazing bloke.
He's a good bloke. He's he's keeping the scene alive up there,
Have you heard their latest song? They just brought out a song. It was Pulling on the Boots. Remember the movie Rubber Stomper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know this. I know the song you're talking about, and I'll tell you something funny about all the Oi band stuff in that. That was written by a guy by the name of John Clifford White, who is actually Jewish, as I understand it. He wrote all the music for that, and my friend's dad did the orchestration. So my friend was doing all the percussion and the drums. So next time you're listening to those songs, I want you to picture a guy with a Frank Zappa style mustache and beard and long hair down his back playing drums on those tracks.
All right.
I actually watched that film recently. Yeah, God, has
I might need to watch it again myself.
The thing is, it was I think October last year, and the Australian punk site. Every day I upload 2 songs on that site, and October last year I uploaded "Pulling on Your Boots" on the punk site, and Sean straight up went, "Fucking, what are you?" And just went on this big tyrant fucking rage. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just, oh," and he got me full on.
it's a different,
And he turned around and goes, "Okay, Matt, we're gonna do this song, but we're gonna do it in a way that it should be done." And they've done, and it's fucking brilliant, man. Like, Sean, and I feel like I'm stoked because it was because of my post that made him think of doing this song, and it's excellent. I was just, it was stoked.
We're sort of lucky, like, you know, with our scene, you know, we don't have the problematic bands, we don't have the problematic sort of stuff, you know. It's a different world now, but you got to be careful. Because even like listening, because I grew up, you know, was growing up when Romper Stomper was a big film. So, you know, we used to listen to the soundtrack heaps, not even thinking what it was about. And so, you know, we're sitting there singing along, and then all of a sudden we're like, hang on, we actually read these lyrics. Like, what the hell are we singing? You know, we're just teenagers going, you know, thinking it's great oi stuff. And then we're like, oh, that's what pulling on the boots means. Tuck the CD out, but yeah. But I had friends in that film. I had friends that were in the big gang fight against the Asian gang versus the Nazis. They were in the Asian gang, and it was crazy.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, it would have been. It was. I loved the movie, and I didn't love it in a racial way. I loved it.
It's just a great film. No, it is a good film,
and the performances are fantastic.
Yeah. So it didn't glorify any of it. It just showed skinheads as filthy, disgusting people, and they got what they deserved. And that's but for us, it was like, we've skated there when they're skating through Richmond Station and stuff, and the Footscray stuff. Like, we've been there, you know. So there wasn't.
Oh, that opening scene. Anyone who's been to Richmond going, that's not Footscray.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who the co-act
it was Russell Crowe and Daniel.
Russell Crowe.
Daniel.
Who was the co-actor? His mate Stevie.
Yeah. Davey was played by Daniel something or other. I can't remember his name.
Pollack.
Yeah.
It was Pollack. Yeah, and he died shortly after.
He killed himself.
He was in front of a train or something.
Yeah.
He jumped in front of a train at Redfern Station.
It's crazy.
Yeah. That was tragic. He was just as good in that film as you know, Russell Crowe was. So.
Oh, definitely. And they were in that movie together too, Proof, where they both played gay men.
I haven't seen
that one. Yeah. No, I had to study that at high school. Yeah. Let's move on. I don't want to talk about God. That and Romeo and Juliet.
I've even forgotten what I brought that up for. No, can't remember why I brought that up. So I'm just looking for a packet of tally hose so I can roll a cigarette. I roll 15.
Jeez.
I roll 15.
Good 8 kids. That's nothing.
Yeah.
Now I'm into the second lot. Talk to us about Quaid. What's Quaid all about? Like, what have you got aspirations of?
Get
I
fucked
don't
up as
know. I
quick
think-
and fast as you can.
Drink the rider first.
Fun. Other than having fun.
I think as Brad and I have sort of said already, it's we're doing this because it's fun, because it's what we want to do. And, you know, I think any aspirations would be to continue having as much fun as we have been for as long as we possibly can, and until, you know, our bodies physically won't let us anymore. You know,
but I mean,
at least,
I think, you know, the immediate stuff is just we need to finish the EP. I reckon we've got like probably a day left.
Yeah,
Fixing it and
tweaking.
And, you know, we're hopefully going to be doing a vinyl release, which is a huge bucket list thing for all of us. And I think, you know, it's just shows. You know, we love playing shows more than anything else. Like,
It's
we love
being up on stage.
studio.
That's what gets our fire.
It's just that's just it. So, as I said before, like, we've got a bunch of shows coming up later in the year, which are going to be a heap of fun. And
It's just Melbourne shows.
Sorry,
Are they just Melbourne shows?
no, we're hopefully going to be in New South Wales in August.
That'll be a first.
Yeah, it was going to be late July, but we've had that's been postponed. So hopefully that's should be locked in. We're doing the Wollongong show, and hopefully one in Sydney. And we just want to hit the road and just get playing again.
Get back over to Adelaide and see our
Hit
big brothers
Adelaide.
over there.
Got to come to Wollongong for sure.
Our friends in Radio Rejects are helping us with a show there. So
Josh, Brian, Josh blows me away, man. He is one of the most decent, amazing people.
they are, all of them are. They're great guys.
They're great. They're fucking excellent.
And but for us, we just want to get out there and play. And so I think that's gonna be the focus.
What happened during what were you doing during the lockout? Where you weren't allowed to? Were you guys, like, other than I heard, you did get together a bit, but like, were you Zooming or messaging each other?
No, we've got a band chat which is just constantly full of garbage.
Oh yeah, not to be shown to the public ever.
We actually
Stuff we can't post on our Facebook page.
we actually do share, like, relevant information in there, and then it's like, can you remind me what that was again? I can't scroll back through 7 days of crap, of memes and
I was
family.
I was writing a heap of lyrics. I know Chris and Vinny were writing riffs and stuff, and and we're starting to because we got the new bass player Sickle, who just messaged before. He's on a boat with his daughter, so he can't.
I didn't get an invite.
He's had to get up to speed in a really short amount of time because haven't been able to jam as regularly due to COVID. So so we're playing a bit of catch up with that. But
I think as well, we're kind of at a point where it's like, do we continue to relearn some of our older songs, or do we just start writing new songs from now on? Because we're up to we got Mick up to speed with about 7 songs, and we've been able to go out and do shows on those 7, but we had more than that, and it's like, are we gonna let them go, or do we just let them go and write new stuff, or do we actually keep spending time relearning it? I think we're probably going to just
50-50.
let them go and look forward now. As
we've been playing
material.
We've been playing these songs for a long time.
We have.
Because we've got to take into account the 2 years that we couldn't play, and I think for us to keep it fresh and to keep it fun, it might be time to add some more stuff in. But yeah, it's yeah. But lockdown was weird, man. Like, yeah, we all sort of,
everybody did their own thing, and it was
a bit of,
because we were strange. You know,
it was a bit
just
of,
locked in every day.
yeah, and a bit of self-love in the sense that, you know, God, that sounded dirty. But
Everything you say sounds dirty.
but in the sense that, you know, we started to actually take a step back on and look at our own lives and go, you know, Jesus, you know, maybe we need to, you know, take a breath, because we're working pretty hard before lockdown. So
Yeah, we were starting to get a lot of gigs and stuff.
Yeah, we were getting a lot of momentum, and we were starting to form our sound, and you know, getting connections with people, and getting, you know, seeing people on a regular basis, rehearsing very regularly. You know, we were really tight on the money, and then they just locked us up for 2 years. So yeah, mentally very frustrating, especially when we worked so hard on writing all our new material, or the current material at the time. Having a great you know, bandmates, everyone, you know, put their part in, because we all just enjoyed it. We just want to get up on stage and show people this is what we are, this is what we play, this is what we sound like, these are our fuck ups, you know. Apologies in advance, you know. But like, yeah, all that fast and furious, you know, getting excited to just be locked up. It was well, I found it hard anyway, but like, I just put my head back into my guitar and just recorded stuff, because I was like, look, eventually we'll come out of this, and we're going to need some fresh ideas, or at least, you know, pick ideas from everyone to make new material. And I think like we've kind of dodged the bullet with like everyone else is like writing music when they were in lockup and just like complaining, oh, I'm always locked inside, or this, I'm basing a song around COVID. You know, fuck that. You know, we've just done that for 2 years. Let's, you know, kick ass. Let's get back out in the sunlight.
We got other issues.
So,
but we also, like, in the middle of all this, we got a record deal. Like, it was a little deal to get a couple of songs out, but then we lost it because we weren't able to get into the studio to finish this stuff. You know, but, and as disappointing as that was, it was, you know, may have been a blessing, but yeah, so I think a lot of that motivation was just like, you know what, no. just for a little bit, you know. It was just like, but yeah.
So where do we find music from you guys? Where do we find Quaid music? Because I've like been on that many sites trying to find your...
We're on Spotify.
Yeah, we're on the Spotify, and our EP's free download on the Broadcast Syndicate Records Bandcamp. So if it's Broadcast Syndicate, we can share a link. But
sorry for sounding ignorant, but like, how does that help you guys with a free download? What like, I don't...
Oh, look, we didn't pay for the recording to start with. It was done by students at SAE, so we got it for free. We don't feel it's right to charge people for it. So, you know, this new one we've done, you know, yes, that's a bit different because we've invested our own money in it,
and it's going to be a physical release too. Our old one was digital. LP. Yeah, and yeah, for us it was more getting our name out there and getting shows,
promoting your sound.
Yeah. But now, like, we've spent a lot more time. We've invested a lot more time and money and effort into this, and you know, we're doing the artwork ourselves. You know, it's completely DIY. You know, so because we're doing the physical release, you know, we'll charge for that too. But we're also poor musicians, so you know, a lot of the bands, a lot of the bands.
I don't think anyone's making a living off Spotify, are they?
No, but a lot of the bands that I got into due to getting a download code or doing a deep dive on Bandcamp and actually finding some free stuff that all of a sudden I fall in love with, you know. So yeah. Yeah, but it's more of a promotional tool, I
What does
think.
Quaid want to do? What does Quaid want in the future? What are you guys hoping for? Like, do you want to go overseas? Do you want to,
I would love that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
It'd be fun if we could. I think
I think you need a big enough following for people to.
not really. I mean,
Or-
it's overseas is a lot more accessible these days compared to, in our previous bands, and we've got a lot of friends in bands, in Asia. A great band called Forests from Singapore.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just the logistics of it all. But yeah, overseas is a huge bucket list for all of us.
The first band I ever interviewed, I don't know if you've ever watched any of my interviews, Master Nate and the Reprobates. They're from Canada.
Mm.
I'm doing my best to get them to come over here, and they want it and everything. And they said, "Look, we get gigs over here. We're going to take those bands back with us." And I don't know if you've ever watched the interviews, but check out the Master Nate and the Reprobates interview.
Mm.
Like this, I've interviewed them twice. That's how I'm just so stoked with these guys. If you've ever watched the interviews, they're the ones that did the intro and the outro music.
Oh yeah.
Cool, yeah.
And these guys have played with not with them, but they've had Lagwagon, Pulley, Sum 41, blah blah blah, all those bands playing on an album with them. Like
Yeah.
And these guys
cool.
listen, because they're going to listen to you. I'll be sending your music to them, which I do with every interview.
Thanks.
Cool.
I send music straight up.
But I mean, but we've got a lot of friends in bands all around the country and internationally, as I said. So, we're always trying to get bands to tour here. It just comes down to, I think, money at this stage.
Well, I don't know.
It ain't cheap.
Yeah.
Does this happen in Australia? Because over there, if they have proof of 3 gigs in Australia, the Canadian government pay for them to come over. They give them a grant. Is that the same here?
I don't think our government's done anything like that in a very long time.
No, nothing like that.
Doing Canada,
except shut it all down.
No, it's and look, we're not label backed, we're not management backed or anything. So for us, it's completely DIY. It's completely the government, well, the previous government didn't care about the arts. That was indicative of every budget. So if it wasn't for organizations like Music Victoria, who actually look after us for Victorian bands, and that's throwing us bones like weight allowances and stuff like that with particular airlines. But that's the closest thing that any music gets support from any government, and I think that's one of the most frustrating things, that we've got some amazing bands that cannot get out of their hometown because they've got no support. I work in a venue in Frankston and called Singing Bird Studios, and the caliber of bands that come through there that are playing Arvo all age shows are just phenomenal. But the reality is, so many of those bands, that's going to be the entirety of their career because they just don't have the financial support or or any sort of government support, which is what kills the arts. So if they play classical, different story. Just a glorified cover band, just playing 200-year-old covers. It's just it's ridiculous. There's unions for jazz musicians, but there's no unions or any support for your local post grunge
live
band.
music.
So
Yeah.
It's frustrating. There's not there like any night there'll be 20 punk shows playing, one jazz band playing. Who's going to get all the money? It's ridiculous. So don't start me.
Australia's like that. Like Australia does not support their Olympians, musicians.
But they get funding. Like I saw it was that new dive bar up on the Gold Coast. It was a bar 11 or something like. They had great venue, great people. They had all the neighborhood have a big meeting to try and ban them, purely not because they hadn't had a show, so it wasn't about noise. It was purely because they were putting on metal and punk shows, and the residents didn't want that element there.
Yeah,
and thankfully the council stood firm. But this is what heavy or alternative sort of music deals with all the time. Yet we make more money than sports. The whole industry makes more money than sports every year.
Definitely.
And we do it ourselves.
On that exact subject, when I was starting this this show, I wanted a sponsor, and I emailed Bundaberg Rum, and at the beginning they were keen, sharing it with Matt. They were keen till they found out that it was punk bands that I was going to interview, and they emailed me back, or my promoter back, saying, no, we don't want to be associated with that type of people.
It's okay. And it's where every single musician that you listen to on sort of the rock stations, every one of those musicians start off in a punk band, Foo Fighters.
Yep.
Every member in Foo Fighters came from a 90s punk, hardcore, or emo band. Every one of them. We've got Nose for a Name, you've got Nirvana, band. You've got Pat Smear, who was in
Germs.
Punk, like traditional punk stuff, but it's okay for them to fly over and play Geelong at a random show because they're, easy listening sort of rock. But no, they're all punks.
To hurt,
yeah. Billy Idol, you hear him on bloody Gold 104, and he's from X. All of these people. Yet you have to not play that stuff to get credibility, and it's just. And that's
actually my favorite song, 1000 Punks. I love it, man. It's fucking brilliant.
But like, and then I saw started watching that awful Sex Pistols show on Disney where it's all softened, to make it palatable for everybody. The best thing about the Sex Pistols is the story, not the music. It's the story.
Yeah.
But again, but the government doesn't see that Epitaph Records or Fat Records is turning over multi-million dollars a year and putting on massive festivals and some of the biggest bands. But no, because Fat Mike wears a dress or something, or Bad Religion had an album with a kid on fire. There's no credibility. It's just it's a joke, It's and that's why and I don't want to get political, but even having someone who's dipped his toes in sort of the live music scene, being Albo, a lot of our musos are just like, oh, we've got this hope now. It's just like, well, he understands the arts. He's a music fan. Fingers crossed, in the next budget, we might be able to get the recognition that we've deserved for the last 50, 100 years. So, yeah. You can tell I'm passionate about that shit. Sorry.
Oh yeah, well that's gotta state your shit, man.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So people will actually sit down and watch this interview. We're going to keep it at 1 hour and 25 minutes.
Jesus Christ, sorry.
I've got stuff to do.
I have drinking to be doing. What's going on?
Vinny, the whole interview you had a sip out of your beer once, mate. What,
Oh, it's just I just got handed one. It's just like, oh, we're not going out now. So
Let's finish with Scott.
come on,
cheers to the
bro.
interview. Whoever-
No one's having a drink, and then you have a sip right at the end. Oh,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah, well, that's like a bonus. You got to watch the whole thing just to get to the.
No, definitely.
If I could, you know I would keep hanging out with you.